All right, so have you seen this ad for the free credit repair business training webinar?
Oh, yeah, the one with the countdown timer.
Yeah, exactly. That one, it's tough to ignore, right? Like, it makes you feel like you're going to miss some huge opportunity if you don't sign up right away.
I know exactly what you mean. It's like they're trying to create this sense of urgency, you know?
Totally. And this whole deep dive is going to be all about, you know, breaking down the claims in this ad and
Mhm.
figuring out what's real, what's hype, and, really what's in it for someone thinking about starting this kind of business.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to unpack all of that. And, it's really interesting because this ad is specifically targeted at entrepreneurs and small business owners, people who are probably already looking for, that next big thing.
Exactly. And they dangle these promises in front of you like find clients in 24 hours, easy results, scale your business without advertising. Like, who wouldn't be tempted by that?
Right. It's like the dream, but, let's maybe take a closer look at some of those promises
Yeah, let's
because,
break it down.
okay, so first, find clients in 24 hours. I mean, that's a pretty bold claim, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, especially if you're starting from scratch with zero experience.
Exactly. Building a client base takes time, right? You need to network market yourself, build a reputation, and even in a field like credit repair where there's definitely a need, it's not realistic to expect to have a flood of clients overnight.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So maybe not instant success, but what about the easy results part? Is credit repair actually, is it really that simple?
Well, that's where things get a little more complicated. You see, credit repair isn't just about like disputing a couple of errors on a credit report. It actually involves a pretty deep understanding of consumer credit laws, like the Fair Credit Reporting Act,
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that one.
right? That outlines, your rights and the responsibilities of those credit bureaus.
Mm.
You also need to understand different types of credit scores, the factors that influence them, and the legal ways to actually improve them. It's definitely not a magic fix.
So you're saying there's no magic wand to just make bad credit disappear?
Yeah, unfortunately not. And there are a lot of unethical players out there promising unrealistic outcomes.
Speaking of unethical practices, what would be an example of something shady going on in the credit repair world?
Well, one common tactic is something called credit stuffing. Basically, these unethical companies, they add you as an authorized user to a stranger's credit card account, one that has a really good history.
Wait, so they just like piggyback you onto someone else's good credit?
Exactly. And it might temporarily boost your score, but it can have serious legal consequences down the line.
Wow, yeah, that sounds risky. Definitely a reminder that those quick fixes can really backfire.
Exactly. You got to be careful.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about, why someone might be drawn to starting a credit repair business in the first place. I mean, it's got to be appealing for some reason.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. We live in a society where your credit score affects pretty much everything.
Mhm.
Getting a loan, renting an apartment, even landing certain jobs.
Yeah, it's crazy how much power that little number holds.
Right. And with so many people struggling with debt and, just general financial challenges these days, there's a huge demand for help in this area. Imagine someone who went through a job loss, fell behind on bills, their credit score takes a hit, and they just feel completely lost on how to rebuild it.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a really overwhelming situation.
Exactly. And that's where a credit repair specialist could potentially step in, provide guidance and support, and help them get back on track.
That makes a lot of sense. It really highlights the real need this industry is trying to address.
Yeah. And this ad, it really plays into that desire for independence and control over your income, being your own boss, setting your own hours. It's a powerful message.
For sure. But it's important to remember that the ad also includes that disclaimer about understanding consumer credit laws.
Oh, yeah. That's a key point. It's not as simple as watching a webinar and becoming a credit repair expert overnight.
So no overnight riches. Bummer.
Haha, right. Ethical and legal credit repair requires ongoing education, staying updated on all the regulations, and a genuine commitment to actually helping clients navigate this really complex system. It's a real business.
Like any business, it takes work knowledge and a solid plan.
Exactly.
And speaking of solid plan, this ad is pretty vague on, how you actually build this supposedly successful business.
Yeah.
What kind of due diligence would you recommend before someone jumps headfirst into any entrepreneurial venture?
That's such a good question. First of all, don't rely solely on hype and promises, right? Do your research. Research the industry, thoroughly understand the legal requirements specific to your state, and, explore the competitive landscape.
Yeah.
Look for reputable training and certification programs that go beyond just those surface-level tactics.
So it would basically be informed, be realistic before investing time and money.
Exactly. You wouldn't just jump into any other profession without proper training and preparation, right?
Correct.
Credit repair is no different.
It's been a really insightful deep dive, unpacking this whole credit repair business opportunity. We've uncovered the allure of those big promises, the potential of the industry, and the importance of approaching it all with a healthy dose of caution.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we wrap up, here's something to think about. If this webinar ad was your only source of information, would you feel confident enough to invest your time and money? What additional questions would you need answered? What kind of independent research would you do to validate their claims?
Those are great questions for our listeners to consider. Remember, knowledge is your best tool when navigating the world of entrepreneurship. Be informed, be skeptical, and be empowered to make smart decisions.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
My pleasure.
Until next time, stay curious.